Alright everyone, what's up? I just pulled over that loop from Splice right now, and then I stretched it out, so I kind of like gave it like my own like manual halftime, pitched it down by 12 semitones, and then duplicated it and put it back to its normal tempo. So today I figured we'd try and go over all of the plugins that I would use in every single beat. There are certain plugins that I use multiple times in each track, and when I first started out, I didn't know what plugins would be good to use. I can't really lie, this is not a budget setup. I'm going to be using some pretty expensive plugins, and my camera battery is going to die, so hopefully it just stays like this for a little bit longer. And in order to show you guys the effects plugins that I use, I kind of have to make a beat for that, right? So I'm gonna go make something real quick. This sample is dope though. That was the worst recording of my life. I'm not good at recording stuff. I'm just now starting to realize this. Like, just the worst. Alright, we're gonna try and record the hi-hats now. Just gonna quantize that real quick. I want it to be slightly off the grid though. That last little bit was just not great. That's tight.
Tight, yeah!
Those 808s alone are just like really helping out this beat. I think keeping it pretty clean is exactly what it needs. Okay, so now that we have our loop going, this is what it sounds like. Now I kind of did some stuff in this beat that I did on purpose, kind of wrong. I put some elements that don't really work too well together. There's a lot of low end in everything, which I need to kind of go through and fix some of that with some of my EQ and do some compression, I think, and then also go through some of the fun stuff like the gross beats and the portals and all that good stuff too. Now obviously you want to kind of arrange your track out and have your track completely finished before you do any of the mastering or anything like that, but I'm gonna do it all here just for the video's sake. And then I'm gonna go through and arrange it all later on, and then I might change some stuff, I don't know, depending on how, if I use an element just on its own, it would need to be a little bit higher in the levels, like the volumes. But as far as right now, we're just gonna be mastering and mixing the loop. So first things first is to route everything to a mixer channel, and I always do mine a little bit more organized. So usually like tracks 1 through like 5 will be like an instrument, and then from like 6 till like 15 will be drums. I don't always use that many drums, but it's gonna be an empty space just in case if I wanna go back and add anything. And yeah, I've only got one really melodic element, but in case I wanna go back to this beat and have another like 5 sorry, another like 4 different sounds that I can just go in and add one pretty easily. And then usually around like 16 to the rest are gonna be all of my like effects, like risers or my Vox or my beat tag. I'll go from like 16 and on. But I'm not doing it there right now. I kinda just wanna go over and try and do the mixing as far as the track will go. So first thing I do when I start mixing is I immediately turn this little knob down here and put it all the way to mono. You don't wanna leave it there because it's gonna sound like garbage because mono audio is not the most appealing or the most pleasing. But the best thing is it's gonna squish all the audio into the center that we can really hear what is clashing together a little bit. And then I'm gonna solo just the one element right now, which is the melodic element, the sample that we have. So those lower notes are really hitting in the bass, so I'm gonna try and EQ some of that out. So I can really hear a lot of bass in the low notes. And usually what I would use is Fruity Parametric EQ 2, which is a great plugin. It's a stock plugin, everybody has it in FL Studio. And I've used it for a long time, that no other EQ that I was using was nearly as good. And honestly, keeping the CPU low is really important. As much as like these third-party plugins are awesome to have, sometimes it'll really run up your CPU and it'll make everything sound bad, and even exporting it will not sound the same thing as when you were mixing it. But I actually did just make an investment to get FabFilter Pro Q3, and I wish I got this thing sooner, man. This thing is incredible. So first things first, to try and get some of that low end out of here. What's cool about this too is I can make this one dynamic. And if you guys look at the band right here, it's lowering down when it's peaking. And then it goes back up so you don't lose those elements. That sounds fun. I might want to raise some of the high end a little bit. Alright, sounds good to me. And now because of these dynamic bands that we use, we still have those tones, those underlining tones, like the deeper notes, without having them really hit the bass too hard. And the really cool reason that we have the FabFilter Pro Q3 is because if we add one to our bass over here, we're not even going to touch it on the bass yet. All we're going to do is have it on there, and then we're going to go over to Analyzer and go to the other one that we have. This is the 808. And now we can really see where the melody is clashing with the 808. Looks like it's like right over here. And then just solo the piano again, just to make sure that I'm not ruining the sound. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing with the kick. I wanna make sure that the kick and the 808 are not clashing together, so I'm gonna add another instance of the FabFilter Pro Q3. I'm just gonna say FabFilter, because you'll know what I mean. It's a really mouthful to say it like so many times. I use it a lot in each track. So again, we're gonna go over to the analyzer. Want to make a decision if I want the bass to be hitting on the kick or the bass. And I'm thinking that I want it to be the 808, so I'm gonna have to cut out some of the kick. Once again, we can try and use another dynamic one, just to try and keep that feeling of the bass. Come on, there you go. Solo just the kick again, make sure that we're not ruining it. And now I think of these 3 elements, your melody, your kick, and your 808 really have to make sure that they're not clashing together. It's very easy, especially when I have like a darker track like this. There's gonna be a lot of lower notes in the melody. I have to make sure that that's not clashing with whatever the bass is, whether that be the kick or the 808. And I think we did a pretty good job of making sure that they're all making enough room for each other. And now for the clap, I think I want to add just a little bit of reverb. And usually everybody would use Fruity Reverb too. That's what everybody uses. That's what I was using when I first started. But I've actually recently gone over and converted to Fruity Convolver. And that's just the default preset. Already sounds fantastic, but if you click on the presets button over here, you can see a whole variety of different reverbs from different rooms to different outdoor areas. It's really crazy. But I do want my reverb to be very open, very wide, and very saturated. We're going to try that one out. This one is the Library Door Closed Front. Whatever that means. Now on the piano one, I do want to go over and get the Neutron 3 Elements. This is by iZotope. I believe right now, if you guys want to go check it out, they do have a Black Friday sale going on. It's just actually how I got these on their Easter bundle earlier this year. It's like $50 for 7 of their Elements plugins, which their Element plugins are almost as good as their full versions. Anyway, they're really great plugins. I use them in every one of my tracks. Basically what this one will do is it will listen to the instrument that's being applied to it. Like on here, I have it on my piano. And then I can go over here, go to Track Assist, and if you see if I highlight over Warm, it'll say slightly emphasizes the bass in the instrument, which is what I don't want. I just spent the time trying to get it out of there. Balance provides a general purpose processing for well-rounded sound, so it's not going to add too much more bass. It's going to cut a little bit more of the high end out too. Up front, it emphasizes the mid-range. So this is if you really want something to like stand out, like if you think that your piano is too quiet, you would add this one and it would really beef it up. But what I'm going to actually do is go over to here and hit Piano and Balanced. can hear the everything else in there too, like the clap and the kick, but it's only listening to the piano. Next thing too, everything but the bass I'm gonna get and put it into its own little mixer bus right over here, route to this track only. And then same plugin, Neutron 3 elements. And then now we're gonna put it towards percussion, and I want it to be up front. I want them to really hit hard. And then you can actually see what it did too. So it actually raised up quite a bit of the like low mid range, and then a lot of the high end actually too. I think that the clap and the hi-hats were a little bit lower tones, and then it wanted to bring them up a little bit. And then the exciter to kind of, it's almost like a distortion. It kind of just goes in there and kind of feels like what would be natural for it. I only really use the exciter. I'll sometimes even turn it off when it uses it for a piano. But I'll really only use the exciter for drums because the distortion is not really as destructive on your kicks and your snares. And a compressor just to make sure that everything is going to be hitting harder and not going to be quite so soft and quite so subtle. And if I'm being honest, my bass sounded pretty good, so I don't think I really want to add too much distortion to it, but we can definitely try a little bit and see how it would do. And whenever you need distortion, my go-to is always just Fruity Fast Distortion. Or I could really even go to RC20, which I think I might do that one right now. The Fruity Fast Distortion is a very good option though. That's because over here in Retro 20, they actually have preset to crush or dirt punch your 808s. 808 crush is definitely not it. That sounds pretty good. Let's hear what Wonder does. That's not it either. It gets rid of a lot of the bass. I think that dirt punch is what we're gonna want. And then once we have our 808 the way that we like it, we can actually go over to another instance of the Neutron 3 elements and then use this little preset now that we have over here too. We can actually go down to bass and then go to 808 resonator and click around and see which one that we like. I think I like textured punch a lot. And then even then we can still go for this and then hit up front, hit next, let it play, and then see what it wants to give us. And yes, I'm fully aware that we're going way above peaking, but once again, I have to keep my volume super down low. Alright, just so I can actually show you guys what I mean, I'm gonna replicate it and it's gonna destroy my eardrums. So if you're wearing headphones, I recommend either turning them down or just don't freaking wear headphones for this part. There it is! Oh god, it hurts so bad every single time, and I'll do it by accident. I'll forget that my microphone is on, and it will just destroy my eardrums. And I know that I did this manually to give this one kind of like its own halftime, like this, as opposed to keeping it like this and then adding something else to make it halftime with plugins too. So if I go over here and add some gross beat, you could also use halftime by Cable Guides. It's a lot cheaper, and honestly, it's a better use of the halftime effect. So now the gross beat is basically doing the exact same thing that I did manually, just by stretching out the sample itself. But gross beat can be kind of annoying sometimes. If you like click somewhere, it'll kind of just like mess up on itself. See, like that. So gross beat is pretty annoying to work with sometimes. And then once you're all finally done mixing, you're gonna want to go and reset this stereo knob. Honestly, it's kind of a really good way to kind of not get bored of your own beat. Once you're done with the mixing and you turn that knob back to stereo or back to neutral, it's really gonna make it feel like it's wider again, which is gonna be really cool to watch. Like that just instantly sounds better. I really highly suggest you guys go check out these plugins by iZotope, because we're about to be using another one, and that's gonna be iZotope Ozone 8 Elements. This is right now my favorite mastering plugin, strictly because it does it for you. And of course you're putting this on your master track, that's why we're mastering. And then you're gonna put it onto streaming, because that's what we're going for. We're not trying to do a CD. Hit next, and then we're just gonna go ahead and hit the thing again. And I should actually lower the volume because I'm peaking so much, but if you're doing leveling correctly, and you're starting very low, this will actually raise it back up to around 0 dB. And here what it did, it kind of heard what I was lacking on. It said that I didn't have nearly enough high end, and I had a little bit too much low end, which I could understand. I can't really hear everything that I'm doing right now. And a maximizer, so its ceiling right now is negative 1 dB, so it's making sure it's not going anywhere near that 0 dB mark. And basically what I do here is kind of just let it play. It's just to start off with. There's so many different ways you can master the same track that you don't really want to rely on a computer or an AI to do it for you. And as well as having a plugin like FabFilter that you could actually go and add some dynamic bands that the other plugin Ozone 8 would not have. of course you're gonna want to go in there and do it manually yourself. All right, but I think that's gonna do it for me, guys. I think I'm gonna go head on out of here. This beat actually turned out really dope. I'm gonna go finish it right now once I can actually turn up my volumes correctly. And yeah, once again, I apologize for the lack of videos recently. I just got done with my 5th day of work in a row, and I'm starting my 6th day tomorrow. And then I've got a couple days off for Thanksgiving and everything like that. But I've still got some personal stuff going on too. Some of my best friends are leaving California, so we had a going away party for them, and then I'm gonna try and help them get some of their stuff packed into the van on Wednesday, like after Wednesday, and then Thanksgiving. So there's a lot of personal stuff going on right now, but I wanted to record this video. I'm gonna try and edit it tonight and get it out to you guys as soon as I can. And by the way, holy crap, we had like 10 subscribers just from that video that we did from Lo-Fi Weekly's channel. That is incredible. I was stuck at 24 subs for months, guys, and that's what I really love about being like a small-time YouTuber, is like these little numbers bring me so much joy and so much, like, I feel like I'm doing something right here, and I feel really good about these videos. I know that I'm getting better at making music, all this other stuff. So it could be a little bit discouraging at times to see that there's nothing really happening to the channel. So seeing you guys come here really meant a lot, and I mean that. So thank you guys once again for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Why do you keep on focusing? Stop that. I'm gonna mess up my focusing. Just you wait. I feel like I'm like super like underexposed right now. Please be in focus. Whoops, that was the wrong thing to do. Come on, man, be professional. Wait, that's not right. Make sure that you reset your what is it called? Stereo knob, that's the one. Along with the Fruity Fab. I keep on wanting to say the Fruity Fab filter. It's gonna drive me crazy. It's not gonna stop either. I'm gonna keep on calling it that.